Hello and welcome to the Cinema Gold podcast. I'm your host, Larry Lewis. Today we're diving into the latest box office news and giving our review of the new movie Boogie. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Poddex. Visit poddex.com and use promo code TCNS for 10% off. And if you want to support the show, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. And let's get on with our first topic. Disney has reclaimed the top spot at the box office with Raya and the Last Dragon, bringing in $8.6 million. While you can watch that on Disney Plus through Premier Access, the film still managed to bring in $8.6 million in its first weekend release. That was enough to bump Tom and Jerry from first place. Raya and the Last Dragon stars Kelly Marie Tran. Critics responded well, generally speaking, to the original film, which currently holds a 95% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Last week, Tom and Jerry brought in more than $14 million, making it one of the best openings of the past year. The film dropped 53% in its second weekend, bringing in on only $6.6 million. And it's currently streaming at no extra cost on HBO Max for the next few weeks. It has now taken in $57.2 million globally. Chaos Walking entered it in at number 3, bringing in $3.4 million. And if you haven't seen it, I did a review on that film you can find on the YouTube channel. It didn't receive positive reviews from critics, including myself. Lionsgate ended up cutting its losses, however, it came at a high cost, with the film having a budget of $100 million. Rounding out the top 5 for Boogie, a new release from Focus Features, which took in $1.2 million. That film was largely boosted by theaters in New York City, which were finally open again this weekend. Rounding out the top 5 was Crudes, A New Age, with $780,000, bringing in a total of $53.6 million. New York City theaters opening again is a signal that things are very slowly perhaps getting back on track to normalcy. Vaccine distribution is ramping up. If all goes well, perhaps by early summer we could see box office results that are once again good, with no painful caveats. That would in turn pave the way for blockbusters to truly return and slow the further release date delays. But we're not quite there yet. And now we're going to give our review of Boogie. Fresh off the boat, author and producer Eddie Huang makes his feature filmmaking debut with Boogie, a fresh and feisty sports dramedy that takes movie formulas and cultural tropes out for a spin. Sports movie formula, it's all about the big game and getting a basketball scholarship, only that benchmark scene is defanged and knocked off its axis. Overachieving Asian immigrants, our hero, winningly played by Taylor Takahashi, has screaming, brawling parents who guilt him to paper over their own shortcomings. Mom, played by Pamela Cheney, is an inept, manipulative control freak, and Dad, Perry Young, has never been more than a town car and limo driver, partly due to his explosive temper. Every hint of a tradition in our culture that they trot out is playing the China card. The film is framed within a flashback of the bickering couple's pregnant visit to a fortune teller, whose inscrutable advice is laughable, all things considered. According to the fortune teller, love will melt the sharpest sword. What happens when there is no love or a partnership? A key scene is a ritual. Boogie, real name Alfred Chin, sits with his father for yet another viewing. The greatest moment in Chinese American history, Michael Chang's win over Ivan Lendl in the 1989 French Open. The kid trots out better, greatest exemplars. NBA hero Jeremy Lin, Maya Lin, yeah, maybe. She was 21 when she designed the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Dad is supportive, but sanguine about the family plan. Get Boogie, a brawny guard from high school, to the NBA. No one believes in an Asian basketball player, Dad grouses. We can cook, clean, count, real good. Anything else, we're picked last. With scenes like that, Huang takes us into a world that feels lived in and lives that show strain under the weight they carry. Boogie has game, swagger, a mouth, and a temper. He's transferred to City Prep and can turn their trash team into winners. If he can learn to play well with others, control his temper, and tone down the mouthiness. Heaven knows this American-born Chinese is going to be reminded of what we went through to put you here by his parents every damn day. But his partner might be a help when he swoons into his first big crush, classmate Eleanor, played by Taylor Page. Is all dreads and eyes and attitude, doesn't mess around with ballers, but she notices the attention. She says he could get it if he stops staring. Boogie, I feel like a left-handed layup right now. Yep, we've seen him take them on the court. He uses his right hand, big hole in his game, and he knows it and recognizes Eleanor as the same hopeless challenge. Wong turns their courtship into something young and lightly charming, and their first time in a low-down comedy. That's the kind of movie Boogie is and has to be, because as the plan keeps going off the rails, the biggest challenge looms like a date with a great black shark. Someday, Boogie will be tested by Monk, the playground courts legend, and high school brute who owns this game in its mecca, New York City. The Brooklyn rapper Pop Smoke makes his startling debut as the best baller in the 5 boroughs, a bowling b-ball machine on the court. Sadly, that'll be the only impression he leaves in the movies, as he was murdered in February, just before Boogie came out. Wong keeps the world and its problems and complications real as the third act evolves into twists and intrigues we don't see coming. And he keeps the dialogue flippin' funny, with Boogie upending expectations at every turn. A walk through Chinatown has him turning up his nose at those gremlin keepers, and woos his lady friend with dates that include a Tai Chi stop, and dominoes, because I just like counting them up. That's the most Chinese you've ever said. We root for them and pull for Boogie, and every time we figure out we know how this will turn out because we've seen 74 earlier versions of this movie. Wong trips us up. His flawed hero, more flawed parents, and pipe dreams become our dreams, which, big game or not, is all we could hope for in any sports dramedy. And that's the end of our review of Boogie. I actually enjoyed this movie. And to be honest, I work at a movie theater, so I get it to watch for free, but I would actually be willing to pay $15 to watch this movie. And currently, based on everything we're showing at my work, it's probably the best movie we got right now. But thanks for listening to this show. If you want to support us, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/cinemagold. There's a handful of tiers you can join with benefits and rewards. And if you want to be a part of the show, send us a voicemail at 682-305-0483 and let us know what you thought about the movie. Have you seen it? What did you think? What did you like about it? And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.